Chloe.
I'm Vlad.
I am Maddie.
And we're the officers of the Latin Honor Society at Easton High School. And we're here to bring you Togathon, an online live stream fundraiser in collaboration with the Hopeful Campaign.
All money raised will be given directly to local schools on the Eastern Shore of Maryland to support their mental health services.
The live stream will include various performances from the community, such as painting, original songs about mental health written by students, comedy sketches, interviews with mental health professionals, and even some exclusive performances by special guests.
If you check out the description, you will see a Facebook link and a GoFundMe link, so please donate.
Thank you all so much for tuning in and going on this journey with us to support mental health in our community and spreading love and hope. Enjoy the show!
Hi, this is Sophie Light, and I'm a part of LHS at Easton High School. I'm so glad to be a part of the Togathon today, and I'm glad that the proceeds are going towards such a great cause, which is supporting mental health services in schools. I'm going to be singing the song Evermore by Taylor Swift and Bon Iver, and I wanted to talk about it first because it's so relevant to issues like struggles with mental health. The song talks about how deeply mental health issues can affect someone's well-being and leave them feeling like their mental struggle will last forever, like it will never go away. Awareness about mental health is so important, especially during this time when people are feeling so isolated. So once again, I'm really glad to be a part of the Togathon today, and here we go. cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar, this pain wouldn't be forevermore, evermore. This pain wouldn't be forevermore, evermore.
I guess introduce yourself. Like, how does mental health affect you in your day-to-day life?
Well, I'm Bahora. Mental health plays like a huge role in my life because, like how I function, getting up in the morning, you know, taking care of myself and making sure my schoolwork's done, stuff like that.
So how's your social life right now? Like, is the pandemic and everything like severely limiting it?
I mean, I don't hang out with my friends as much as I used to, like pre-COVID, but like we still talk and everything. But I feel like it's harder to connect with them. We host like Zoom meetings sometimes, play games together, but it's not the same as like sitting next to them or like talking to them in person.
Yeah. How about your relationships with your family and like people in your household? How has that been affected?
They're kind of strained because we spend so much time together now.
So like, are you feeling sort of like annoyed by just being in the same, like being around the same people all the time, basically?
Yeah, and my mom is a COVID nurse, so I don't see her as often as I used to. So
So are you feeling kind of disconnected from her right now because of
yeah.
that?
And my brother just went back to college, and he's in very dangerous places. So it's really hard to connect.
Is there that anxiety about like what's going to happen to them while they're out at work or in college?
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to wake up one day and then they're just like not here anymore, or like something like that.
How is class work? Like, do you feel like Zoom is going to like very effective right now with school?
Not at all. Usually I'm very on top of my work, like when I'm in school. I pride myself on getting good grades and stuff, but this year it's like really hard because I'm a junior and everyone knows, junior year is the hardest and like stuff like that. And I find myself finding assignments to be very optional instead of like do them like normal.
Do you feel like it's harder to get support, like if you need help with work and all that?
Yeah, but I just email my teachers like normal, or I'll just like wing it and hope for the best. And I just like go up to my teacher and ask, but I don't feel like I have the opportunity to. Yeah, it's like harder to ask questions in Zoom classes, and for me personally, I think.
How about the actual atmosphere of the class? Like, do you feel like now on Zoom it's a lot more like quiet, sad, stuff like that?
I think it's super calm because like you're either in a class where like everyone's talking all the time, or nobody talks at all and it's really boring, and the atmosphere gets very like I want to leave, like I'm tired of this. So, the same way it does like in normal classes sometimes, in a more like controlled manner.
How about your grades? Like, do you think the whole situation has sort of impacted your grades, or do you feel like you're on top of that?
It depends on the class. I feel like certain classes, like they're really bad right now because like I feel like they're better taught in in-person settings. But for the most part, my grades haven't been affected. But the grades of some of my friends, very much so.
How are your friends doing during this whole situation? Have you
Some of them
seen?
are struggling, I'd say.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's sort of harder to actually like have friends right now?
Yeah, I feel like I leave my friends hanging a lot of times because like a big part of friendship is talking to each other, and hanging out and stuff. And when you don't have the opportunity, I feel like it really strains friendships.
How have your own like personal behaviors changed during the pandemic? Like compared to before, like how do you feel like you've started acting differently, if at all?
I don't think I've been acting like very different. I spend a lot of time at home anyway, so I just spend more time at home.
About your friends, have you noticed anything different with them?
Yeah. Some of them are more like closed off now, and I'm not sure why, but I just think all the time we spent in isolation just changed them.
So since everything is so rough right now, like what do you feel like motivates you right now, if anything?
Um, Motivates me to, well, I guess the knowing that I'm like staying inside to help other people motivates me to keep going. Like if I don't go catch COVID and give it to someone else, I'm potentially saving someone else's life. So I think that's enough motivation for me.
Have you seen other people act like that?
No, I'm seeing a lot of parties and group hangouts on the timeline, but yeah, it's sort of disheartening to see so many people ignoring this really tragic pandemic.
Have you found that the cancellation of after school activities and stuff like that is really impacting you?
Yeah, I'm in like 7 clubs, and I was on the track team at the beginning of COVID, like back in March, and the season was cut short. So, and I can't attend most of the online ones because I just got a job too. So it's really harder to keep up with all my extracurriculars.
How is this whole pandemic affecting sports teams? Like I know everything has been canceled, so how are the players taking that?
Um, they're still like training. There's that, but there's no like meets or games or anything like that. So I think it's really hard because there's that like camaraderie that comes with like sports teams, and you make a lot of friends on sports teams and at these games and at these track meets. There's so many things to do, so many people to meet, things to see, and they're just gone. And it's a big part of like school life.
So if someone is struggling, how do you feel like the best way to sort of support them is right now?
I just think the best thing to do is just be there. It's just to reach out, make sure they're okay. Um, if it's really dire, maybe point them in the right direction. I think it's just like being there for them.
Hmm. Do you feel like the school system is right now supporting students struggling with mental health right now?
Um, I don't think so. They try. They really try, but I don't think they do that much. They like put out resources and they're like, I'm here for you, but are they really there for you? It's just like if resources are helpful and all, but it doesn't feel like they're there
Hmm.
enough.
I mean, what sort of resources have you seen available?
Um, like they put up like little forum things with like numbers to call, I guess. And like they have people you can talk to.
Hmm.
That's about it. Doesn't go very deep.
All right, I guess that's about it for my questions. Is there anything else you might want to share to the world?
Reach out if you need help.
But thank you so much for joining me today on the interview. Your help is greatly appreciated.
Hi, my name is Lily Roser, and today I will be showing a video of me doing yoga in a toga to help LHS and especially raising awareness around the stigma of mental health. I think it's something so important and something that really a lot of people should be educated on, and especially in times like today, COVID and different things, it has taken more of a toll on people's mental health than maybe in the past. So this is just something that I'm really passionate about today and every day in the future. So enjoy this video of me doing yoga in a toga, and thank you so much. Also, a quick shout out to Chloe Dixon for telling me about this and letting me be a part of it. Here we go. Salwete, thank you so much for tuning into Togathon. We are so thankful to all the donors and performers that we have had today and throughout the entirety of Togathon. Thank you so much for hanging posters, passing out postcards, and wearing your pins. We are so pleased that this has turned out the way it has, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without you all. So to say thank you, we have a few prizes that some random donators will be chosen from, some random performers, and even a performer with the most views. So thank you so much, and here are the prizes. So the first prize I have here are 3 $25 gift cards from Capriati's in Easton. Thank you so much, Capriati's. Then I have a $25 gift card from Bakery. Thank you so much, Bakery. You've been so kind to us. The next prize I have here is another $25 gift card from Talbots. Thank you so much, Talbots. You all are so gracious. The next prize here is a $100 gift card to Fisherman's Inn. Thank you so much, Fisherman's Inn. Another gift card I have is from Karina Dixon Photography. She has given us a free mini shoot with up to 5 people. Thank you so much, Karina. The next prize I have is from Levity in Easton, and that is a beautiful wooden plaque that says Dream. Thank you so much, Miss Ingham. And the last prize I have is this gigantic basket of goodies from Muscle Inc. Thank you so much, Muscle Inc.
We are the Perkins Family YMCA Dance Team. Have hope, everybody!
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love, is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love, is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two in love can make it. Take my heart and please don't break it. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you. Love was made for me and you.
I know you killed her. Tell me how.
Thank you. Let me tell you what happened. Rain. Oh, she's dead. But let me tell you who I think has killed her. Galen, she's really weird. She wears that mask around and even eats with it on. Oh, I love you, Rain, even though you're in heaven. So won't you help us, Mr. Detective? Please avenge a friend. Please avenge Rain.
I'm not a murderer. I'm an artist. Let me show you.
Neil did it. God, he's such an idiot. I never really liked the guy, and now because of him, Rain's dead. Yeah, Rain and I were tight. She was pretty alright. But now my buddy's dead and gone. It's all Neil's problem. Woo! He's such a freaking nerd, bro. You don't even know, though. Killed her using poison or something like that. I don't know. Neil's a total buzzkill. I hate his guts. He makes me ill.
I killed her. I killed Rain. And so the number goes like this. Okay. That's right. Okay, Mr. Police, I didn't mean to kill her. I gave her the last slice of pizza. I didn't mean to kill Rain. I gave her the pizza, then she started to choke.
Wait. Excuse me? She choked?
On the pizza, that's right.
So, she choked. That means none of you are murderers. It was just an accident.
I'm not the murderer?
Yeah, I already know she wasn't murdered.
It's hard to be hopeful these days. So many twists and turns, it's like life is a maze. I'm steady thriving, yet I'm stuck in a daze. 500 streams on my album, but it will never amaze. The achievements that I'm getting, leave them all unfazed. They really think that they know me, but they only got a graze. Just the facts, y'all. I'm home running while y'all are still in T-ball. I'm the GOAT, man. I do my best to appall. Put myself in steam up and down like a seesaw. I try my best to keep it under awe. It's like I never won at all. It's been a rough year, but I haven't shed a tear. I got my strong arm steady, man, I'ma face my fears. I'm meant to succeed, man, it's never been so clear. Yeah. It's the beat, I hear it in my sleep sometimes. Sitting at my desk late at night, just writing rhymes. Looking back on my better times, when my mind and my raps are on the same page. Producing magic like a mad mage. But my mind has been declining with my new age. I'm trying to put the boy in a cage, but they'll never succeed. Cause my pen and my words got the force of a stampede. Trying to impede me till I cease. Losing every minute to the people that I please. I'm hoping for the future cause of rhymes like these, where I can put out all my flaws for the public to see. I'm not afraid of the man I am or the one I'm gonna be. Cause the fact of life is that I'm gonna be me. Shout out to all the kids in their dreams. Cause the fact is that I'm proof that they can do it like me. Become a local legend and still keep their integrity. Yeah. It's real simple. Lay the beat on quick and pop in every single. All hard verses and skip the jingle. Add a whole lot of wordplay like sprinkles. Yeah, add another record to my shelf. Dreaming of the day where I can build my wealth. The only fear I have is the fear of myself. Will I make it out alive? Well, I guess you'll see for yourself.
I guess you see it for yourself. I guess you'll see it for yourself.
Hi, I'm Tina Marie Brown. I am the Director for Eastern Shore Crisis Response. We serve 8 counties on the shore. We have a mobile crisis team and we have a call center. And our call center can be reached by calling 888-407-8018, 24 hours a day.
Have you been noticing like an increased load recently? Has the pandemic caused anything like that?
We are seeing an increase of calls from people that may have not known about us in the past or may not have used us in the past because they weren't in crisis. And now with the pandemic going on for so long, I mean, I don't believe any of us believed it would be going on here almost a year later. We're still at home a lot, not going as many places as we used to go. So we're seeing people reaching out to us saying, hey, I've never spoken to a therapist before. How do I get in touch with a therapist? Or we're having a really bad time right now and we don't know what resources are available. So we're getting a lot of those kinds of calls. We're getting calls from people who have been home a really long time and they haven't been able to work. And that isolation is really difficult when it goes on for this long.
Do you feel like the stigma behind sort of having issues with mental health is still a problem today?
Oh, yeah. Especially where we live, there is still a really big stigma for mental health. So we've tried to do things like doing some advertising, letting people know that it shouldn't be any different than any other health problem, that the type of situation now that we're in now that we've been in for so long is very stressful for everyone. But yeah, the stigma is still there. And even though I think here on the shore, we've done a lot of different things. And when I say us, I mean all the organizations in the community. I think we've done a lot of different things to help reduce the stigma. And I think we have reduced the stigma, but at the same time, the stigma is still there.
Do you think it's sort of hard for people to recognize that they need treatment? Like I know a lot of people think like everyone's anxious sometimes. I don't have anxiety, or like everyone's sad sometimes.
I think that's why we're getting an increasing calls. Because I do think people are starting to realize that they're uncomfortable or that these feelings of anxiety or even sadness that maybe in the past only lasted briefly are now lasting a really long time, and that's not normal for them. And I do think, I think organizations as a whole in the area are starting to recognize that they have employees that are really stressed. And I think church groups are realizing, they have members of the church that are really stressed because things haven't gotten back to normal. So I do think there's a lot of things going on in the community to help people, workshops on self-care, how to take care of yourself, how to take care of yourself during stressful times. So I think all those kinds of things really help and help people recognize, oh, I'm not the only one, because they're not the only one.
If someone's friend is struggling, what do you feel like the best thing to do is?
I would hope that the friend would have our 888 number, our 888-407-8018 number, and get them to call. So the thing about mobile crisis and their call center is we can talk to people over the phone. The other thing is, too, with COVID, one of the things we didn't do before that we do now is we can do telehealth visits over the phone or over the computer. And I do think younger people like that better. It's less intrusive. We're not coming to their house. I think another thing people can do if you're really concerned about a friend having thoughts of suicide, then they can ask their friend, are you thinking about killing yourself? all the literature shows us that asking that question is not going to make someone hurt themselves. And that oftentimes people are just waiting for somebody to ask them. And if the response is yes, then their friend can get them to call our hotline, or there's a national suicide prevention hotline that people can call. So there's lots of resources that they can call.
If money wasn't a problem, what sort of things would you like to see expanded onto current mental health programs?
If money wasn't a problem, so for us, and I'm looking at it through my lens from Mobile Crisis. So we have 4 teams that cover 8 counties. I would love to see a Mobile Crisis team in every county. The other thing I would like to see, that I think since our country has seen a lot of unrest, is I think it would be awesome if we could have a crisis clinician embedded in every police department. I think that would help a lot. I think it would help people get into treatment instead of going to jail. And so, because we do know that we have a number of people incarcerated that end up there because of their mental health issues. So I think one of the things we're looking at is, how can we do that? How can we get a clinician, a therapist embedded into the local police departments? And that could be a really big help. My other big wish would be that all mental health treatment is free. So at Mobile Crisis, because we're grant funded, then when we come to someone's house, it doesn't cost anything. And I think that is a really good thing. If you're already stressed out, you don't want to worry about how to pay another bill. Or if you're already anxious about something, you don't want to worry about, is my insurance going to pay for this? Is my insurance not going to pay for this? So that would be the biggest thing on my wish list. Mental health treatment was free everywhere.
You said something earlier about sort of this incarceration process of people who have mental illnesses getting incarcerated. Could you sort of tell us more about that?
Well, so what we do know through the literature and through research is we have a lot of people incarcerated that are mentally ill. And the thing is, in our current system, they end up there because of the lack of treatment resources, or they end up there because they stop taking their medicine and then they're not well and they make really poor choices and they end up incarcerated. So a lot of it has to do with really the lack of resources. Even now with the opioid epidemic, even though there are times when we can get people in quickly, for the most part, if somebody came to us today and said, I need to get into treatment today, the chances of us getting them into treatment today aren't very good. In a couple days, they're real good. But here on the shore, we don't have any crisis stabilization centers yet. But there's just some other resources that we need that would help keep people in a better place and help them make better choices.
I know that that waiting period is very essential for a lot of people.
It is. Have you ever heard the old saying, strike when the iron is hot? So that when, if people have made that decision, and it's a big decision to go into treatment, especially addictions treatment, the quicker you can get them in, the better the success rate. The longer it takes to get somebody into treatment, then that can decrease their chances of being successful.
Is there sort of anything else you'd like to add that you think is important to sort of tell people right now?
Well, again, if anybody needs resources right now, for Mobile Crisis, for our call center, our 888-407-8018 number, we allow the person to define the crisis. So if you're upset about something and you need to talk to somebody, give us a call. We're not going to say, oh, well, you've got to call somebody else. We can't take care of that. We feel it's really important that when somebody is reaching out for help, that there's no wrong door. So we might not be the best resource for them, but they can call us and we will help them find the right resource that works best for them. So, and I think that's really important, starting where the person is and having the person define what they need, and then we help them get that.
So the next film is a time travel film, and it's based on the client project that we do in the advanced media production class. So every student, including myself, would write down a subject that they are very passionate about, and the other students in the class would pick one of the subjects that they have a shared passion for, and then I would be their client.
So for my friend Luke Edelman, he wrote down time travel, and I saw that and was really excited because I love time travel. And he told me that he wanted a film that was half documentary, half narrative, kind of like the show Mars on National Geographic. So this is my interpretation of that, though the experts are not real experts because it's kind of a spoof on that.
You see that new Sean Connery movie?
Yeah, I did with my dad actually. We keep quoting it all the time. It's like hella funny.
Really? Speaking of your dad, has he found a cure yet?
I actually don't know really. He doesn't really tell me that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird.
That's weird. I've walked down this street like 1,000 times. I've never remembered seeing this alleyway before.
I'm sure it's been here.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah, I think you've seen it before. I think you're fine. Hello? Jamie, where'd you go? Jamie? Hey, it says it's fine. Where'd he go?
Ainsley, where are you? This is funny. Where'd you go? Ainsley?
Yeah, I got the vaccine. I could go. I feel great. It took them long enough. 5 years?
Theoretically, time travel could be done through what we call a wormhole in the scientific community. And unlike a tunnel, which connects 2 points in space, a wormhole connects 2 points in time. The issue is that to open up and travel through a wormhole, it would require stupendous amounts of energy, far more than we could ever produce here on Earth. But, in principle, yes, time travel is possible.
Excuse me, sir, what day is it?
November 14th, 2025. You okay, dude?
I'm fine.
Time travel can never live up to moral standards. It's actually quite interesting because if you think about it, if someone time travels and then they step on the wrong leaf, it can alter the course of history.
Ainsley. Hi.
It's been 5 years. I thought you were dead.
I just showed up here. I have to know. Was your dad responsible for the cure?
COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wrong?
Don't touch me. Can I get a hold of it?
No.
But I need to take it back to the past. You can come with me. We can give it to people. Come on, you can come back with me. Come on.
I can't.
Why not? Oh.
No, wait.
Fine.
Jamie, come back.
Say, hypothetically, you traveled into another time. You met a person and wanted to bring them back with you. That's all fine, theoretically, but physically, it would break the law of physics.
What are you doing out here? What are you doing here? Excuse me.
Time travel. It's been debated for millennia, and whether or not people can make the trip to the past or far into the future and back in one piece is our major concern. So how would this even work? Possibly a machine or a handheld device or suit to protect their skin as they travel from era to era. These ideas are all theoretical, but if you ask me, no person could survive the trip.
Are you okay? Oh my god, oh my god.
I think it's far too risky to even attempt time travel. And I pray to any and all gods that we never have to find out.
What's going on, young people? Contavious Jones here, and welcome. The song I'll be performing is called March On, and it's an original song. And it's about being socially active, being out there on the forefront and marching and standing up for issues that are important. You know, when good people do nothing, evil thrives. I'm gonna march down to my brother's house. Let him know I share his fears, and I know his doubts. Though there's evil lurking, we're gonna stomp it right out. Though our views and hues may not be the same, I still consider you my brother. Hope you view me the same. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. I'm gonna march down to my sister's house. Let her know she is a diamond. Tell her let that soul shine out. Though there's evil lurking, we're gonna stomp it right out, yeah. Though our views and hues may not be the same, I still consider you my sister and treat you like a queen. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. I'm gonna march down to the big white house. Let them know that we are here and our time is now. Even though there's evil near, we're gonna stomp it right out, yeah. Though our views and hues may not be the same, I still consider you my brother and treat you like a king. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. March on to the rhythm of, march on to the rhythm of the light. Thank you.
Oh, Sheena, you're stuttering. What the?
I'm Audra Charbonnier. I'm the Child and Adolescent Coordinator at Midshore Behavioral Health, which is our local core service agency. And so I have been there a little over a year, but I've been in the children's mental health field for about 10 years now. I'm a huge child advocate that children get their mental health services young so that we don't have adults who have never gotten treated and untreated trauma, get to the root of the trauma early so that you can be well. If we were going to do a curriculum on mental health throughout the schools, I think it'd be really important to start with the basics. So helping children and teenagers, especially when teenagers are in a party and offered marijuana or some other kind of drug, and to teach them that those risky behaviors, you know, there's a time and a place and a proper setting, and what places you don't want to take those kind of risks. They're depressed, they're anxious, they're self-medicating. And so absolutely, I think the numbers of teenagers using substances are definitely going to be up in this time. And I think it's going to be really important that as we start to get our eyes on our students more, our young people, that we start looking for those trigger signs, those warning signs, and really start referring them quickly to resources. I feel that learning online is having a tremendous effect on students doing their schoolwork right now. School is the best place for students to learn, and at home there's a lot of distraction, and some of the counties locally are saying 50 to 75% of their students aren't engaging online. So I definitely think that students need to be in school to get the best learning experience. The lack of social interactions, the lack of team sports, clubs, after-school activities are having a major impact on anxiety, on depression, on just even for the younger kids learning social skills and being able to learn how to appropriately interact with others their own age. And so again, as soon as we can, we need to get children back involved in social activities so that they can learn those basic life skills and really gain those skills for life. The general public isn't thinking about, they're thinking about the bad parts of COVID. And I'd like to think that the resiliency that we're going to see as a result of this time period in our lives is going to skyrocket. And we're going to see things come out. We're going to see leaders that maybe we wouldn't have seen before. And we're going to see kids that have really had some hands-on time and been able to do hands-on projects more and been a little bit more of a free learner. And we're going to see some really great benefits from that. I think the other side of what we're going to see is there's going to be a bigger gap. And that scares me. I've had a child that went through the special education system, and the gap is already big enough. And I'm concerned that those kids in special ed, those slower learners, those who have more difficulty sitting still and whatnot, that the gap is going to get so big. And then those at the other end are going to have really excelled, which is awesome. But then where's all those kids that are in the middle? And so, you know, sadly, we know that there's kids being abused and neglected in our communities. And with all the additional stress on parents, you know, am I going to have a
be
job?
a better parent when you're like anxious about?
Right. Am I going to have a job? Am I going to be able to pay my bills? Am I going to lose my house? Am I going to have food on the table? Am I going to find toilet paper? Oh my goodness. You know, so just things like that, that the stressors on the parents, and then we don't know what's happening with the children. So many kids have their cameras off. You don't know. I think when we get these kids back in school, we're going to see some significant trauma that we really, as a system, are going to need to be able to deal with this trauma. And it's going to take a different way of teaching as well. I don't think we're going to be able to just go right back in and roll.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to really be looking and identifying and talking about so much more that we haven't talked about in the past. I'm afraid that more kids than not are having to figure it out on their own, even if they're 10, 8 or 10 years old, and they're not equipped to figure that out. I talk about the backpack full of stuff, and every trauma is another 5 or 10 pounds added in that backpack to the place you can't drag it anymore. And so generational trauma works that way too. It's a lot. But we know that as a community, we're resourceful. We have a lot of resources. We collaborate better than any. The Midshore overall collaborates so well. And actually, we have new resources coming out daily that I'm finding out about, and I'm so excited because I think this is the best time of any to have these new resources hitting the pavement so that we can get them out to people. In the next few months, you'll be starting to hear about Adolescent Clubhouse for teenagers who, 14 to 17, who are at risk of or have used opioids or have a family history of opioids. And it's going to be kind of like an after-school program.
I'm good. Are you
Awesome.
glad?
Awesome.
Hello.
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 We are the Sob Sisters.
Oh, yeah?
And we are happy to contribute this song for the Hopeful Campaign. We love this song, Get Together, by the Youngbloods, because it is really just as timeless of a message today as it was in 1967. We hope you enjoy it.
Come on, man. Get it together.
Love is but the song we sing. Is the way we time.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are here to make you laugh. So we are, allow me to introduce Veni Vidi Improvici.
And to get started, we just need a word that's related to toga from somebody here.
Sandals.
Sandal.
Sandals.
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 Yeah.
Sandals. Okay, pet peeve, socks and sandals.
Yeah.
Black socks and sandals
Wait.
on the beach.
Oh God, yes.
You mean you don't like to wear that?
I just think it should be outlawed.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you see these old men in their little shorts on the beach and their socks and sandals with their, what are those, metal detectors?
I say forget socks and sandals. Like socks in the summer to me is that's just a no-no for me. Like I was like socks in anything on the beach, I think is just sand and everywhere, you know?
Oh.
It's like glitter, like it's everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, my pet peeve is when I wear my sandals, my flip-flops, and I go out to get the mail and a rock gets stuck between my foot and the flip-flop.
Oh, yeah.
I remember. Why are they called flip-flops?
Yeah. Why are they?
It's the sound they make when you walk.
flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop.
I remember being in New York with my mom. Well, we moved there at one point, and we were in Macy's and going up the escalator. My mom used to wear these really, really, really high heels, and here I was in my little flip-flops, and her heel, and this actually happened, her big heel got stuck as we were going out. And so she stuck, and I'm right behind her, and my flip-flops got torn to teeny little pieces.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had to walk around Macy's with no shoes.
Wow.
Did you get any service?
No shoes, no service.
Oh, sure.
So Crocs, what are people's thoughts about Crocs? Like they were cool, then they were not cool, now
No,
they're okay.
They're never cool.
I love Crocs. It's like walking on a cloud, man. I don't care.
Oh,
If you're
Like,
3 or under, Crocs are cool.
If you're 50 or under?
3 or under, Crocs
Yeah,
are
they
cool.
were great.
3 or
What if
under.
I'm mentally 3 or under? What if you?
Yeah.
Well, I love Crocs. Sorry.
And they have jewelry for Crocs. What's
Oh,
that
yeah.
all about?
Yeah, my daughter bought me some.
Oh, you put it in the
Did you bedazzle your Crocs?
Oh, I have some bedazzled Crocs.
That's a Father's Day celebration right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Linda.
Yeah, Jean.
How long do I have to stand in the bathtub with the water around my sandals so it forms to my foot? How long do I have to do that? These leather sandals, from India?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the temperature of the water. Is it kind of warm? Did you heat it up a little bit? Because that'll make the leather mold faster.
Oh, well, it started out warm, but now it's pretty cold. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gosh, this is a dilemma. I think I've ever had this situation before.
Aren't your feet the same size as mine? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, let's change. I'll let you stand in the shoes for a while, and
okay.
I'm gonna go get some French fries at Thrasher's.
Okay, that's fine. And by the time you come back, my feet will be all shriveled up, but the sandals should be
Yeah, the
molded.
sandals should be good. Okay, great.
Hey, Howard, Dad did it again.
Oh.
He wore the socks with the sandals, the black neat socks.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. We can't take him anywhere. You go on vacation. It's
Just
embarrassing.
doesn't get how uncool.
And you know what? He was out there with his metal detector on the beach.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean,
how are we going to pick up girls this way?
Probably not going to be very successful. I mean, we really got to distance ourselves from this guy.
You know how you have a wingman to go out there with you? Dad's like the opposite.
Yeah,
of
like that. He's like the toe man or something.
The toe man. There you go.
It's like toe man
and
poisoning.
one of the socks does have a hole in it and the toe's sticking out.
Yeah, right.
Get that fungus on there. It's gross.
Fungus among us. I mean, he just doesn't understand how uncool it is to wear socks and sandals. Now, if you put on some Crocs, that might take it up a notch.
You know what? That's what we should get him for Father's Day. Some Crocs.
Yeah, and we could bedazzle him with some jewels.
That would be awesome. It would change his life.
Yeah, and he'd be cool again.
Mom might talk to him again.
Oh, let's not get too carried away here.
Hey, Kate. Yeah. I heard you're going to that Sandals Resort for vacation.
I know. I cannot believe it. Finally, vacation time is here.
Oh, wow. I mean, all those like heart-shaped hot tubs. I mean, wow, you're going by yourself? That is going to be super fun.
Well, I'm trying not to think about the fact that I'm going on my honeymoon alone. I was not very happy about being left at the altar, so you don't need to remind me about the heart-shaped pool, but I'm gonna make the best of it.
But I mean, think how your Instagram feed is going to look. These
gonna look amazing.
awesome pictures.
Absolutely. Especially when they start putting flower petals all over my room, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Now, does everything there happen in slow motion, or is it just how they film you?
No, I think it really happens in slow motion. It's kind of like,
Wow.
you know, back in when there was black and white TV and pictures and stuff, it was black and white back then, you know, it's the same.
Yeah. And like people eat fire every night and this is exciting.
I'm sorry?
They eat fire every night at dinner.
Well, they got to cook the food somehow.
Wow.
Dan B.
Yeah.
Are you sure we had to come to Florida to get these Crocs? Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, crocodiles aren't native to Maryland.
I mean, can't.
And the ones in the zoo, they already told me we couldn't have.
I understand that, but really, I mean, couldn't we have ordered them instead of having to come all the way here to get them?
I will quote to you exactly what the police officer told me. It is against the law to ship illegal animals, dangerous animals through the mail from Florida to Maryland.
Okay.
So we have to pick them up ourselves.
All right. Well, how about alligators? Would we have been better off getting alligators instead, or gators instead of Crocs? Or
No, I mean, they're pretty much the same thing, right?
I don't know.
I mean, crocodiles are just alligators with rubber shoes.
I never heard it explained that way.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. All right. All right. Do we have to like give them a size when we go there, or just pick them up?
No, we just find they're everywhere. Like they're running around the street. You just grab one.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we got our kids.
Hey, Kate, or Adrian. Sorry, Adrian. Like, I'm really sick and tired of you trying to one-up me. Like, I posted all those crock pot recipes on Pinterest, and then you have to come in and do all the Instant Pot recipes because you have an Instant Pot. I only have a crock pot.
You know, Jeremy, I've told you, you got to keep up with Instagram. People, crock pot is old fashioned. You need to get with the program. Instant Pot is where it's at. That's why I have so many more followers than you do.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, like, you know, you're only spending like 3 minutes to make dinner, so like you have time to like, you know, market yourself a lot more than I do.
I do, like, you know, it takes a lot of work to like set up the shot, get all, you know, everything chopped up and take a picture and then put it in the pot. And I use the rest of the time, you know, learning photography class.
I mean, like I just know you're that person that has like the ring light for like the close-up food shots.
Yes, I am. And, you know, I've also got like the special camera and, you know, and I've special microphone. I can teach you some tricks if you really want to know.
Okay. Like, yeah, I would love to know, but like, do I, you know, just like the Instant Pot, like it's kind of high pressure.
Whoosh. Hey, Linda.
Yeah, Dan.
Congratulations. You've got the big trade show coming up and you're going to sell your sandal socks.
Yep. I finally got somebody who would accept my pitch. And here I am. I got the sandal socks all lined up, different sizes, different shapes, different colors. I'm so excited.
I mean, I think of the decades you've been working on this. I mean, you're just your stick-to-itness is, well, it's impressive, Linda. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Nancy. And I couldn't have done it without you. Because when anybody else thought about my idea or heard about my idea, they just went, get out of here. But you kept me going.
Well, you know those people they turn their nose up at people who wear socks with sandals. They're just disrespectful.
They don't understand how important it is to
No.
have
I mean, to
good
get that-
foot gene.
Yeah, yes, and when you're on the beach and it holds the sand in, it's like a loofah.
I know, a loofah. Yeah, that's a good name. I'm gonna add that to my inventory. Loofah sandals. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the Economic Development Council. We're really trying to make this town of Easton have a bigger city feel. I mean, we have so many great things here for people to experience, but we don't have simple things like even an escalator. So, what's some things we can do to kind of embiggen the soul of this city?
Add extra stories. Add extra stories to every building.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's
extra
a great
stories.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even have to be useful.
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
No.
A Ferris wheel. I think we should add a Ferris wheel.
Oh, that is
Right in Thompson Park, right on the corner there. That was
awesome. Ferris
perfect.
wheel. Yep.
Ferris wheel. I think
a
that's great.
big sculpture of a giant crab would look really
Oh
cool.
that'd be a good addition. Yeah.
Destination tourism right there.
We
Right.
should bring in more greeters for the Walmart. We don't have enough greeters.
Oh, you're right. You don't feel as welcome as
Yeah.
you could.
More Starbucks.
What?
What? Come on, Starbucks.
already have,
What
like,
are you
3
talking
of them.
That
about?
looks so passe. I mean,
Why is that so much better anyway?
oh my god.
How could you say that?
Counting the Target one.
There's so many other coffee shops.
Okay, serious ideas.
Disrespectful.
Serious ideas, folks.
Ooh. What do cities have that we don't? Street gangs.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that's what we
Yes.
need. More gangs.
I think
always wanted to be in a
we need guided tours with like the tour guides could dress up like fun like Disney characters or something fun like that.
Oh yeah, that
Great
yeah,
idea.
give it a
nothing
magical
says Easton
feel.
more than that.
Yeah.
Here's the
tour.
thing.
A ghost
Nothing
tour.
says big city like having a place where you need to move your car to the other side of the road at the other time of day.
That's a great
Oh,
idea.
oh, yeah.
Random
Yeah.
shifting your parking around. I like it.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Great.
And we could have high-rise parking garages too.
Oh,
We can put the
yeah.
escalators in the high-rise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Then we
there
finally
you
get
go.
an
Win-win.
escalator.
Yes.
I like
I
that.
know. Double tiered buses.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Buses.
Buses.
Come on
Nobody
now.
likes
Bridges.
buses.
Like,
What?
People
People
get
like
sick.
Dream, I think.
Put 'em
Oh.
in the parking garage.
Yeah.
All right. Seriously now. Good ideas. Good ideas. I need some serious ideas here.
What if we
Just-
made sure everybody had a boat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 And every-
All right, most big cities have more than one Olive Garden. We could put in a second Olive Garden.
Oh, there you
wow.
go. There you go.
The Smithsonian is really popular in DC.
Yeah.
We could steal it.
Yeah.
Bring it over here.
Just like in the
Easy.
movie. Yeah.
I mean, like, I would say that like every city has like a subway system. We need to have a subway system, like
Oh,
an underground
yeah,
train.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
eat
Target
trash.
to the
Cities
Walmart.
so big, we need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Walmart, you said? Another.
Yeah.
What about a Pizza Hut?
Oh,
Oh my God, the one
Yes.
that's got a
So much-
business, Val.
Ooh, and
You
that's
don't
so
need a
small
pizza Hut.
town.
I mean, that's like a small town.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
No.
That's
yeah.
thinking
That's our
little.
show.
That's our show.
Everybody.
slipping away as I'm sliding along. There's so many rules and so little time. Finding out because of what they produce. There's a whole lot of numbers, notations confusing. I'll be okay, cause if I can decide to put in the time and how much is needed of me, you get wrong before you get right. You get wrong before you get right. You get wrong before you get right. You get wrong. Wrap your head around this for a while and take the time if it's the time that you'll need it. Cause it'll be okay, cause if you can decide to put in the time and how much is needed of me, you get wrong before you get right. You get wrong before you get right. You get wrong before you get right. You get wrong.
I'm the local care team coordinator for the county. And so essentially the local care team is it's a body that is in statute and legislation that requires that there are representatives from all of the child serving agencies come together and sit on this team and are a resource for parents and families that their children are experiencing kind of extreme difficulties. It's a voluntary process where parents can come and say, my child is experiencing this, this, and this, whether it be, maybe it's a academic issue, maybe it's a behavioral health issue, being mental health or substance. It could be like a juvenile services issue. And everybody at the table kind of helps problem solve because everybody has years and years of experience and knows all of the programs that are available. And we put together a list of recommendations for the parents, take action steps. And then we go back and we revisit it with them to see if it helped and if we need to tweak anything. But I'm also, my other hat, because I saw you ask questions there about food. When the pandemic hit, I stepped in and became what's called the feeding branch director for the Emergency Operations Center, so Talbot County's response to the pandemic. And so I've been working with all of the food pantries and with the county and making sure that there was access to food. So
do you feel like students are coping well right now with just like access to food and even like mental health? I know there's a big overlap there.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course there's an overlap. That's exactly right. Because if you don't have the basic necessities that you need, that in and of itself impacts your mental health, right? And you're right. The pandemic has caused a lot of difficulties because of all of the layoffs and unemployment. And so families have in cases struggled to access food, to have enough money to buy food. A lot of different actions have happened there's been increases in the amount of that families can access from what's called SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or some people call it food stamps. So that has been increased at different times over certain months, not other months, depending on state and federal funding. So that has helped a bit. the school's response to making sure that meals were available to students that they could pick up at times during the week. That has been a big help. And the county's response. So the county early on recognized the need to support the local food pantries and to supplement what the local food pantries are doing. So during the pandemic, so I'll say from March to the end of December of 2020, between the county and the local food pantries, there has been over 1,481,000 pounds of food given out in the county. That does not include what the school system has given. That's just from food pantry partners like St. Vincent's de Paul, Neighborhood Service Center, St. Michael's Community Center, as well as the additional food distributions that the County Emergency Operations Center set up and made available to people. While yes, food, I think access has been a concern of people, the county, I think, responded really well and in great planning by Clay Stamp, the emergency operations director at the time. You know, we wanted to make everybody feel like you don't have to worry about food. You know, worry about wearing your mask, washing your hands, social distancing, and other things, but food, you're going to be covered in Talbot County.
Mhm.
But I will tell you, Vlad, that I do think that mental health has really taken a hit for everyone, families, children, seniors, across the board, because we connect person to person. And that's how we cope as well. And not being able to really have that personal deep connection, I think has made it very troubling for people. They don't know how to unburden themselves, so to speak. And a hug goes a long way, doesn't it?
Mhm.
You know, you're lucky if you have a big, I'm going to say a big pandemic pod, or you've got a family with lots of members, so you're in one house and you don't have to worry about the social distancing. But I'll tell you, seniors have really taken a hit. If they are living alone by themselves, even their children who, would normally come over and visit and stuff, just given their senior mother a hug, they've got to have that, am I putting her at risk? And so the seniors that I've talked to, just say, man, more than anything else, I just really like the hug. It breaks my heart.
Mhm. Yeah, I know that it's sort of already difficult to be a senior, and this is definitely just adding so many burdens.
It really is. So with the local care team work that we do, we're finding that families that have children that have mental health issues, and we're talking probably more pronounced mental health issues, not having access to all of the resources in person has intensified things for families. So whereas, you might have a family with 2 kids and a mom and a dad in it, and one of the children maybe has some moderate mental health or behavioral issues. And normally, in normal times, they go to school, so they're out of the house, they might go to daycare, they come back in. And so everybody gets a little break from everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, suddenly, we've had periods of time where everybody's been shut in together and they haven't really had, time to blow off steam or, just being around other people in other situations. And so it's really been very stressful for families, and that has presented a challenge. Talbot County is very fortunate in that we have programs, mental health programs that have instantly got up and running virtually. And that was a wonderful, that we have programs out there that recognize the need and started really making the service available very quickly. We also have mobile crisis teams available in the county. And so that's available by phone, but also they'll come out to the house, and they are still doing that. So they will, if you're having a crisis, they'll still come out, and when possible, they meet outside. But again, you're able to get, somebody there that has that mental health training and knowledge that can help you problem solve for your family, address the immediate crisis, and then come up with a crisis plan for you. So there are some good spots out there, but still it's tough when we're all crammed together. I have spoken to numerous teachers, and gosh, their hearts are just breaking because they teach because they love the interaction with the students, right? And that feeds them. And so to know that their students are struggling and not be able to, like you said, see their face, to kind of read them and to address them, to be able to pull them aside and say, hey, what's up? Like in a normal school day, if a teacher recognized there was something happening, it's very tough to do. Teachers are really being pulled in so many different ways.
How do you feel that the current situation will sort of impact childhood development? Because, like going to school isn't just learning like academics, it's also sort of growing your social abilities and things like that.
We could take the doom and gloom side here, right? And say, oops, hold on. Everybody's kind of like been put on pause, in this really stressful situation. I'm one of those, obnoxious positive people that I really think that, yes, this is a difficult situation. And I think that the youth of today is going to make the most of it. That you all will have strengths we never had, older generations never had. You will have learned coping strategies and creative ways, workarounds that, many of us have never had to encounter. So I do think it's stressful. I do think if we stay within the box and think about it, we think that there's going to be a negative impact. But I believe that there's going to be a silver lining here, and that, we're going to have an explosion of creativity and resilience like we could never imagine.
If someone does know someone who's struggling, what do you feel is the best way to sort of help them as a friend?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as a friend, talking, listening, being there, and whatever that means in whatever capacity you can. So if it's phone calls, text, Zoom, meeting outside somewhere, where it's perfectly safe, and encouraging them to talk about it with many people, right? So it's important that they build a network of support for themselves, that we all build a network of support for ourselves, and that we don't censor what we say, and, that we are open and willing to say, yeah, I've had a really stressful week. Do you have 5 minutes to talk about it with me? And there are also, like I said, there's mobile crisis out there that they can respond. And so they can talk on the phone. If it's the middle of the night and you don't want to wake up your friend, then there's always somebody there. And they also have, I think 24/7 response. So they could come out to the house and help. There's plenty of mental health programs out there to access, and Mobile Crisis can help you with that too. They have some emergency access to those mental health programs, so they can get you set up kind of sooner rather than later if they feel like it's a very serious issue.
Do you feel like the issue of stigma is still sort of a problem today?
I kind of am, I'm hoping that that's one of the silver linings here in all of this, is because I don't know that I have spoken to anyone out there across, all the various socioeconomic groups and professions that hasn't admitted that they're having some impact from this on a mental health level. And so perhaps one of the silver linings here is that the stigma in recognizing mental health needs will be decreased. But I do think that there's that internal struggle that we have, stigma, and recognizing within ourselves that when we have that need and connecting it to the appropriate resource. I know that there are so many people that I've spoken to that describe, say, all the symptoms of depression and their, activities of the day, that they're struggling. And until somebody else puts the words on it for them, they don't recognize how low they've gotten.
Mm-hmm. And another silver lining could be that because of the pandemic, it's so much easier to get therapy now. Like everything's online, it's through Zoom.
Yes, I know people that would have never accessed therapy because, they say they have so many barriers. Oh, I can't, take time off of work. I can't do this. I can't do that. And, or childcare. I don't have childcare. And here it is. The person is in your home. You can, child goes to bed. You can go in the other room, put child down for a nap, and you've got therapy right there. And I'm really hoping that
if funding weren't an issue, what kind of things would you like to see added to sort of the mental health field, whether it's in schools or just general?
If funding wasn't an issue, I'd like to see more mobile crisis kind of programs that can come out and respond instantly. I'd like to see more crisis therapy spots made available so that, as soon as I say I have a need, let's say within 24 hours, I can get that appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't back out of it, so to speak. I'd also, one of the things that we struggle with here on the Eastern Shore are psychiatry appointments. And so the availability of having psychiatrists more readily available as needed. Gosh, I'm sure there's a whole list of other. And honestly, if money wasn't an issue, I would really like to see employers recognize mental health stress days as legitimate sick days.
Mm-hmm.
So that people don't feel guilty, don't have to get physically sick before they can take a break and take care of themselves.
Hi, my name is Alice Carr. I am so pleased to be a part of Togathon. The Hopeful Campaign and Easton High School's Latin Honor Society are such wonderful examples of victory, honor, and peace. Did you know that the laurel wreath is a symbol of victory, honor, and peace? I am wearing one today as a crown, but it can also be worn around the neck. The laurel wreath was a symbol of Apollo, and the leaf itself was believed to have spiritual and physical cleansing abilities. Ancient Greeks awarded laurel wreaths to victors in the Olympics and poetic competitions. And in ancient Rome, the laurel wreath was used to crown a successful commander. Today, laurel wreaths are still associated with academia. The laurel wreath symbol is made of interwoven branches shaped into a circle or horseshoe shape. Today, I am going to show you how to make a laurel wreath. After all, the Hopeful Campaign and the National Honor Society are all victorious in their efforts, honorable in their accomplishments, and strive to find peace and unity in our community. Thank you.
So my name is Crystal Miller, and I am a licensed social worker for the state of Maryland. Currently, I work for Wraparound Maryland, and we are beginning a new psychiatric rehabilitation program. So big words, it's commonly referred to as PRP. We started the program in July of this year, and it's growing, and that's actually part of PRP is working with youth, adolescents, and adults, and giving them additional supports when it comes to like mental health and mental illness. So creating a space to teach them about those coping skills, social skills, communication skills, daily living skills, kind of all of the things that really help you have an improved quality of life and be able to tackle everyday problems a little bit easier. I have been in social work. Well, I'm a Navy veteran. And so when I was out of the Navy, I became a mom and I didn't know what I was going to do. Fell into working PRP for Eastern Shore Psychological Services and fell in love with it and put myself through my bachelor's and my master's in social work. I was also a licensed therapist for ESPS for a short time, working at the schools. And then I was a school-based social worker for Talbot County Public Schools for 2 years before taking this position at Wraparound.
So how do you feel that this whole pandemic and requirement of like quarantining is sort of impacting that childhood development?
So I think like everything else, it impacts us in like a positive and a negative way. So obviously there are many things that we really rely on school systems to provide. I mean, as a parent or as a teacher or as just a community member. So we look for the school, they allow our children to really learn those age appropriate social skills. Obviously they learn the educational piece of math and science and all of that. So when you remove the social aspect from the developmental age and that part of the brain developmental stage, it does drastically impact children in general.
You sort of mentioned how there's sort of a negative and a positive. I'm interested in knowing, like, what do you think the positive aspect is?
I think that the positive is that, one, I really think it's brought youth mental health to the forefront. I think it's in more conversations. I think we're looking at it in a different way, and maybe there's more investment and approach from people in more powerful situations to tackle it and to put more funding into it and see that having more social workers or caseworkers in schools is such an important factor and a preventative factor, linking families with resources. We're seeing the lack of equity and equality across the board. We have individuals who are in areas that cannot access internet. Or before the school had the buses go around and give tablets and laptops, you were seeing that some individuals didn't have those things that we need for success in a school system at home or at they didn't have it at disposal. It wasn't a common resource that they were able to access as quickly as others.
Right.
So I think bringing the attention and shining a spotlight on that. I also think it's giving us all a collective approach. Like, it's not just one person being impacted by this. Like, we're all globally being impacted by this. So as we're going through a collective grief together, we tend to have a little bit more compassion and understanding with one another. And there's that sense of camaraderie and maybe a little bit more kindness in some of the decisions that we make or things that we do.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know one of the personal like benefits of the pandemic would be like just telehealth and the access to that. Like, I don't need to go drive however long it takes to get to a doctor. I just can sit at home and do that online now.
Yes. And I was actually just having a conversation about this earlier. When you think of individuals who maybe they have social anxiety or they just have depression. So it's that mental illness piece. And I think we focus so much on mental health and people are very comfortable with that term. Like, do self-care, go do yoga, go work out, drink your water, like do everything to support your mental health. And I think we miss the concept of mental illness and remembering that that's not as easy to always kind of wrap around and support, right? Like if I have depression, my depression isn't going to be just like somebody else just having a bad day. So I think being able to highlight that, and I know like the stigma and mental illness, that everybody wants to talk about mental health. So when you get into that mental illness piece, when you think about that crippling anxiety or that depression that makes you not want to get out of bed, private insurances always, well, not always, but recently did allow that access to telehealth, and they recognized it as something they would pay for. Having the state finally recognizing it was a huge benefit of COVID. We can now access individuals in ways that we weren't able to.
So I agree with your statement about how people are very comfortable talking about mental health and like drink water. Like you see all over social media, people sharing these inspirational quotes. Yeah, some people aren't like willing to address the idea that that doesn't work for everyone. Like mental illness is very real, and mental health, like those tactics won't work with everything.
Right.
So how do you feel that that stigma is right now? Do you still feel that it's a huge issue?
I do. I think a lot of our problems society-wise are systematic, right? We tend to judge things that we don't understand, be it any equality, race, gender, LGBTQA+, like all of that collectively, like there's just this embedded ignorance, I guess, for lack of a better term. When you don't understand things, you fear it, or you're not as willing to accept and embrace things. And I think mental health and mental illness really kind of has that. And I like what you just said, it doesn't work for everyone. It's like that whole, I can give everyone the same pair of shoes, same size, same everything. That doesn't mean it's going to fit for everyone. And some people may not need a tennis shoe. They may need a literal military boot because of their environment. Somebody may need a smaller size. Somebody have wide feet. So that equity and that equality is so important. And when you look at the school system, you see the impacts of that educationally. Some people don't test well. Like I know I get test anxiety. That doesn't mean that I don't know the material. It just means that in front of a written test, I might not do as well as I would orally. So I think when you take that into context, we have to accept that stigma is there. It's always going to be there. Some people are more comfortable posting about, oh, I'm so sorry this person committed suicide, than being the person that helps them before that step. Like if somebody came to you and said, I'm having these thoughts, that might make them uncomfortable. But it's like the after effect. Like what are the preventative measures we need from one another to collectively help that person before we get to that piece?
Right. I think if you haven't like personally experienced mental illness, it's not something that you can really understand. So sort of on that topic, what do you feel the best thing to do is in that situation? Like if your friend says, I'm thinking about, like I'm having suicidal thoughts, or maybe if you're a parent, like what should you do in that situation?
That's a really good question. I would always say seek professional help, but I know in the moments like that, that's not always possible right there, then and there, right? So I think first, I would always recommend any youth or adult who is not familiar with that to go get the mental health first aid training. Not sure if you've had it. I know I taught it at the school. I think it's valuable because it does give you some of those steps to take. But I think sometimes the best thing we can do is sit there, be with them in that moment, listen to what they're saying. Don't dismiss it. Don't belittle it. Don't make them feel worse than they're already feeling. I know for me, making sure, obviously I'm coming with like a different approach, right? So that mental health, we go through our checklist, like, and we ask certain questions like, do you have a plan? Do you have access to things? Do you have a date and time? Like you follow the things to make sure that, is this something they've been seriously planning? Is this something that is extremely high? And do I need to call mobile crisis, or do I need to call, a police officer to help take this person to the hospital for immediate evaluation. But I think as parents and as friends, I think taking anything that they say seriously and maybe knowing the numbers, their suicide hotline numbers. I know Maryland started one specifically for our state where you can even text now. So making sure that you have that information.
If money weren't an issue, what sort of things would you like to see added to mental health services?
So many things. For school specifically, if money wasn't an issue, I would actually like to see social workers, case managers, that kind of thing, including the mental health. Like we have school-based mental health therapists, but I think maybe fewer caseloads and more social workers, even like one social worker for every 100 students that can really do the whole piece of social work, like be able to be there for the therapy piece and the skill building piece, but also to sit with the family and to sit with the child and make sure those fundamental needs are being met. I think as a county, we're like one of the richest counties in the state, I believe. I think that equity and quality piece, making sure that children have all the access, all the resources and all the tools that they need, making things more available, including the healthcare piece, like the mental health piece, the dental piece, if you have a cold and need to go to the doctor, we still are seeing such a disparity even in that access. And then socially, being able to make sure all of the children have access to, not everyone likes sports, right? You have kids that really like digital art, or you have drama or dance or debate, STEM, all of those things. So making sure we have these amazing programs that really can just offer different variations of things to kids that are not just in one economic stance where they can afford it, but all the kids across the board having access to those same opportunities and experiences. It's very important.
Mm-hmm. One clinician I spoke to said she might want to see a curriculum that teaches about mental health and mental illness in elementary schools. What do you think of that? Like, what would you like to see in that?
I would love to see that in all of the schools, not just the elementary, but I think that social emotional learning, like what are feelings? How do I know that I'm feeling them? What causes me to feel them? And what can I do when I'm feeling them? Just normalizing it to talk about stigma. If we could add that class, it would normalize that, just like math and science and history and all of those very enriching, important things. But having that would give you access to understanding how your development works, how you make choices, and the impulsivity, the emotions behind it. And I feel like it really sets the stage and platform of a healthy existence.
Is there anything else you sort of feel is important to address?
The takeaway from all of this is, one, that we're extremely resilient, that when we come together as a community, we can tackle big things really quickly. And just having those tough conversations, being just like we've been talking about, mental health versus mental illness and the stigma associated with it.
Well, it was great talking to you. Thank you for doing this interview with me. It was really great.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater. I am broadcasting to you tonight from the Chicago suburbs, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. My sister, Maureen McHugh of St. Michael's, heard about your magnificent toga event, and knowing that I have an actual, more or less legit toga, suggested that I send something along for your charitable event. I told her, of course, that I would be delighted, and I wanted to do something from the big climactic scene of my one-man play, Breakneck Julius Caesar, which I'd love to find an occasion to come out and perform for you all sometime in its full glory. You are all, by the way, invited to join in on the performance, shouting out the lines of the mob as the scene proceeds. Don't worry, by means of the magic of PowerPoint, you'll all know what to do. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Here under leave of Brutus and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man, so are they all honorable men. Come I to speak in Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? When that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. But Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure, he is an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here am I to say what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Oh, judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till it come back to me. But yesterday the word of Caesar might have stood against the world. Now lies he there, and none so poor to do him reverence. O masters, if I were disposed to stir your hearts and minds to mutiny and rage, I should do Brutus wrong, and Cassius wrong, who you all know are honorable men. I will not do them wrong. I rather choose to wrong the dead, to wrong myself and you, than I should wrong such honorable men. But here's a parchment with the seal of Caesar. I found it in his closet. 'Tis his will. Let but the commons hear this testament, which, pardon me, I do not mean to read, and they would go and kiss dead Caesar's wounds, and dip their napkins in his sacred blood, yea, beg a hair of him for memory, and dying, mention it within their wills, bequeathing it as a rich legacy unto their issue. Have patience, gentle friends, I must not read it. It is not meet you know how Caesar loved you. You are not wood, you are not stones, but men. And being men, hearing the will of Caesar, it will inflame you, it will make you mad. 'Tis good you know not that you are his heirs, for if you should, oh, what would come of it? Will you be patient? Will you stay a while? I have o'ershot myself to tell you of it. I fear I wrong the honorable men whose daggers have stabbed Caesar. I do fear it. You will compel me then to read the will. Then make a ring about the corpse of Caesar, and let me show you him that made the will. Shall I descend, and will you give me leave? Nay, press not so upon me, stand far off. If you have tears, prepare to shed them now. You all do know this mantle. I remember the first time ever Caesar put it on. 'Twas on a summer's evening in his tent. That day he overcame the Nervii. Look, in this place ran Cassius' dagger through. See what a rent the envious Casca made. Through this the well-beloved Brutus stabbed, and as he plucked his cursed steel away, mark how the blood of Caesar followed it, as rushing out of doors to be resolved if Brutus so unkindly knocked or no. For Brutus, as you know, was Caesar's angel. Judge, O you gods, how dearly Caesar loved him. This was the most unkindest cut of all, for as the noble Caesar saw him stab, Ingratitude, more strong than traitor's arms, quite vanquished him, then burst his mighty heart, and in his mantle, muffling up his face, even at the base of Pompey's statua, which all the while ran blood, great Caesar fell. Oh, what a fall was there, my countrymen! Then I and you and all of us fell down, whilst bloody treason flourished over us. Oh, now you weep, and I perceive you feel the dint of pity. These are gracious drops, kind souls, what? Weep you when you but behold our Caesar's vesture wounded. Look you here, here is himself, marred as you see with traitors. Stay, countrymen, good friends, sweet friends, let me not stir you up to such a sudden flood of mutiny. They that have done this deed are honorable. What private griefs they have, alas, I know not, that made them do it. They are wise and honorable, and will no doubt with reasons answer you. I come not, friends, to steal away your hearts. I am no orator, as Brutus is, but as you know me all, a plain, blunt man that love my friend, and that they know full well that gave me public leave to speak of him. For I have neither wit, nor words, nor worth, action, nor utterance, nor the power of speech to stir men's blood. I only speak right on. I tell you that which you yourselves do know. Show you sweet Caesar's wounds, poor, dumb mouths, and bid them speak for me. But were I Brutus, and Brutus Antony, there were an Antony would ruffle up your spirits and put a tongue in every wound of Caesar that should move the stones of Rome to rise and mutiny. Yet hear me, countrymen, yet hear me speak. Good friends, you go to do you know not what. Wherein hath Caesar thus deserved your loves? Alas, you know not. I must tell you then, you have forgot the will I told you of. Here is the will, and under Caesar's seal, to every Roman citizen he gives 75 drachmas. Moreover, he hath left you all his walks, his private arbors, and new planted orchards. He hath left them you and to your heirs forever. Common pleasures to walk abroad and recreate yourselves, giving hope for the future through the transformative power of the arts, contributing to the Midshore Community Foundation's COVID-19 Response Fund, supporting nonprofit organizations that provide food, shelter, and mental services. Here was a Caesar, when comes such another? Now let it work. Mischief, thou art afoot. Take thou what course thou wilt. Thanks, everybody. All the best to the Dock Street Foundation and Hopeful 2021 program. I'll remain hopeful to see you the next time I'm out in St. Michael's and Easton. Good night.
Hi. A year ago, would you have believed it possible that we would still be battling COVID, still wearing our masks, still separated from friends and family, still not able to see the bottom half of most people's faces? It's been a hard year. Having to do school from home for over a year, having to balance work, childcare, teaching your children. There's been many challenges, and with that, a lot of stress. And what I'd like to do is just take a few moments today and try to together reach a place of more calm and peace. So if you would with me, find a comfortable spot, whether it's in a chair, laying down on your bed, or sitting on the floor. And what I'd like us to do is close our eyes and focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath through your nose and gently release it. Feel the air coming through your nose and filling your lungs, and then expelling. Feel your chest expand as you breathe in and slowly let the air go. Pay attention to your body as you breathe. Do you feel like you're holding some tension in your jaw, in your neck, in your back? Breathe into the place where you feel tension. And as you exhale, release that tension. Feel it start to relax as you inhale. And then as you exhale, release that tension. Take another deep breath and have it slowly exhale. Can you feel a sense of peace start to come to you as you slow your breathing down? As you exhale the tension in your body. Deep breath in and slowly release. Deep breath. Feel that sense of calm. Let your tensions go. One more deep breath together. And out. Feel that sense of calmness while you gently open your eyes. I hope you're able to keep that sense of calm throughout your day. Thank you for joining me. And do that whenever you're feeling tense. It really does help. Okay, thank you for watching the Togathon. Please donate.